KCB, we deeply value the pivotal role that PBOs, public benefit organizations, play in our society in addressing the needs of vulnerable communities, influencing policy on local and emerging global challenges. As a bank, we understand that true transformation happens when diverse stakeholders collaborate with purpose.
The purpose of this discussion is for us as the financial partner to listen as you tell us how we can partner, collaborate for scaling and for social transformation.
For the last 128 years, been about people, and the footprint that we leave and intend to continue to leave is one of leaving things better.
How do we create the right partnerships? How do we address a lot of these social impact aspirations that we have that are often constrained by not having the right partnerships, the right smart solutions? So those are the questions I had to leave with you.
One of the key insights from our work in regulating the NGO sector is the immense potential and capacity for innovation, accountability, and impact that partnerships can bring.
Tech is sector agnostic. It's not something that should only be focused on in a particular sector, and it should be used as an enabler for us to be able to see transformation in agriculture and in different sectors.
In the space of mass entrepreneurship, and be it in propagation, be it in certification, be it in business development support, that's what the KCB Foundation is there for. In addition to what it is the KCB Foundation can do in terms of working with young people to make them ready to become seed entrepreneurs, we also have an expansive branch network.
I encourage the initiative by KCB and KCB Foundation to come in and support this area as one which employs more than 70%, more than 60% of people, and be able to achieve food security on this continent, and through the technologies increase the income and lift many smallholders from poverty to a better life.
Together we can transform challenges into opportunities. Thank you for trusting KCB as your partner. We don't take this for granted.
Karibu Dala Kisumu for the International Investment Conference.
This is the home of the artists, the home of sportsmen. And unfortunately, these people have not been given opportunity. So when they get this kind of platform, it will be easy for them to showcase their talent beyond the region.
proceed. This session is session 7. It's about water sanitation, irrigation, and climate action. And it reminds me of the slogan that us in the water sector we have, where we say that water is life. And traditionally, we have basically 3 utilities in every society. That is water being the primary requirement for settlement. If you go throughout history, the early settlements were all around water bodies. So if you look at the old towns and early civilizations, water was the main consideration for establishment of settlement and early development. Of course, the other 2 is power and telecommunication. And as a sector, there is a need to, of course, attract investment in this key resource. And it's an area that our speakers today will assist us to go through in terms of how this is coming along, in terms of attracting investment and any pipeline of investment. The region that we are having here today, this is Nyanza International Investment Forum, is known for flooding. So we can say it's the headquarters of floods. You can look at floods as an opportunity. You can look at floods in any other way. And also our speakers may shed some light on the opportunities that come with it, or the challenges that come with it, and how we shall move forward, because flooding can be a source of production. So allow me to introduce our panelists, headed by my boss, Engineer Samuel Alema, who is representing the Cabinet Secretary for Water, Sanitation, and Irrigation. And I would like to have him come over here and take one of these seats. He will be our keynote speaker for this session. We also have my colleague in the profession and the CEO of Vati Water, Engineer Joseph Kamau, who will be presenting to us and discussing with us sustainable ways of harnessing water resources. Karibu, Engineer. Then we have Georgina Kerubo, who is going to do a presentation on youth in climate action, because water resources are heavily impacted by climate change. We also have our final presenter and speaker from the private sector, Madam Bella Kipruto. You may also join us. She'll be speaking about empowering young innovators for sustainable climate solutions in the Nyanza region, and with particular emphasis on overcoming investment barriers, which is going to be of interest to most of us. And lastly, we have a panelist who is also with us, Victoria Aduet, who is the founder of Kisumu Youth Wash Parliament. So, karibu. So I want to believe that we are full house, and I would like to invite our keynote speaker, Engineer Sam Alima, to make a presentation. So if you could just project, it would be good. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Engineer Dede. I will be standing on the protocols that were laid here in the morning. But my name is Engineer Lima. I'm doing this on behalf of my Cabinet Secretary, Engineer Eric Muga. So we were basically told to make a presentation on investment opportunities in the water, sanitation, and irrigation sector in Kenya. So that is basically what I want to talk about. I wish that the hall was full like morning, because we would respond, I could have responded to some of the questions which were being asked about dams in the morning. So I can move to the next one. This is just a fact, global facts, that 1 in 3 people lack access to water, and 6 in 10 lack access to safely managed sanitation. Close to 1.6 billion, that is 18% lack safely managed water in the world. And 2.8 people, that is 32%, we lack safely managed sanitation by 2030. So for us to achieve sustainable development goals, because water is life, sanitation is dignity, and irrigation is food security, the current level of investment, the provision of food, of water, sanitation, and irrigation needs to be multiplied by 4. Now, regarding our Constitution, as we are all aware of Article 43, that there's human right to water, there's human right to food, there's human right to dignity. And the current levels of these 3 aspects are still low, as you can see. Water is still 73% coverage. Basic sanitation is 93%, and safely managed sanitation is only 33%, 93 and 33. So which means we are still a long way to go. We are still a long way to go as a country, and therefore we need to be focused and invest in water infrastructure, invest in sanitation, and also invest in food and irrigation. For us as a nation, we are also still low in terms of storage. My colleague in Kamau will be making a presentation on sustainably harvesting of water. So storage per capita, while the global average is supposed to be 1,500, Kenya, we are still at the level of 107. What we have stored per person, what we have stored per person is still very low at that level. Yeah, we can move on. So here I want to talk about the available water resources in the country. And we will see that this region is blessed. But people from other regions, like particularly the Athi catchment, Rift Valley catchment, because we have divided the country into 6 catchments. When you see the available water resources and the demand, for example, you will see that Rift Valley, by 2010, the available water resources was close to 2,500. The demand was 357. So the rate of demand to available water was still very low, 14%. But that is not there in Athi catchment. Athi catchment is the one that starts from Nairobi up to coast. You can see by 2010, the ratio was 76%. Any ratio above 40% is a dangerous ratio. It indicates water stress. And this is why you have had the war of Earth importing water from Tana catchment. Tana catchment is Muranga, Nyeri, and Kirinyaga. And the trend is growing, is becoming worse. By 2030, all the regions will be water stressed in terms of water resources. All the regions except the lake region, that is Lake Victoria South catchment and Lake Victoria North catchment, Kisumu catchment and Kakamega catchment. Go on. And therefore, we have proposed, we have an investment plan, and an investment plan to develop the resources, to develop infrastructure, so that we have everybody getting water, everybody getting sanitation. And you can see the full cost of that of implementing that investment is 995 billion. That is quite a lot of money which we don't have. And therefore, we are proposing that that can come from different sources. That can come from PPP, which can be 27%. And therefore, bringing opportunity for private sector investment in the sector. Commercial financing, 8%. Housing contributions, 2%. National government and county government can bring in 11% of that 995 billion. And donor grant 11.5%. The highest, 40%, is concessional financing. This is basically from development partners. This is basically taking loan from development partners and implementing infrastructure for water, sanitation, and irrigation. Yeah. So the status, after the investment plan, we started as a country advocating for PPPs. And we are rolling out 100 dams. So out of that, we have projects that are ongoing, that have started under PPPs. We have Sabaki Water Carrier. This is a place, this is in Barichos, in Coast Region. Drilling wells to produce 120,000 meter cubed of water and taking that to Kilifi and taking that to Mombasa. That has now moved. Yesterday, it arrived at project negotiation. It started at PPP, it went to project development, PDR was submitted, and now yesterday it was approved by PP committee to go into project negotiation. So this is a success story for us, because we have got 2 projects that are now at negotiation level. The entire history, we have never reached this level. So we have now reached that level, and we are seeing that PPPs will be successful in the sector. And then we have other projects that are still at project development stage. We have Londiani Dam. Maragua Dam also entered project development phase yesterday. We have Naivasha water supply, and we have Musima 2 pipeline. So those projects are now at project development phase. They will take there 6 months. After 6 months, they will be developed, and then if the investors bring sound project development reports, evaluated, and convince the committee, PP committee, then they will move to negotiation stage. So with that regard, we are seeing PPPs are moving. So when we are talking with investors here, we are saying that the sector is opening up for PPPs. And in this regard, we want to de-risk the sector. Make an environment that allows investors to come and develop in the water sector. So in this regard, we are carrying out reforms. We are amending the Water Act, and this has been done. This has been done to allow waterworks development agencies to operate bulk water supplies. Operate bulk water supplies and be sole off-taker of what is produced by an investor. And after that, after they have off-taken, we have got 9 waterworks development agencies in the country. So once they have the investors has developed an infrastructure, the agencies will now off-take everything and sell water in bulk to water service providers. So we are also saying that the operations should also include from end to end, that you start from source to consumer. Because if there's a gap, then there will be a risk of non-revenue water, and therefore there will be no bankability. We are also saying we need to adopt technology. We need to adopt technologies to prevent that loss. We need to have a tariff, water tariff, which is able to pay for the investment. And also, of course, we need to have accountability. So when we de-risk the sector, which we have started doing, so that when there's a viability gap for these investments, then the government will come in For example, land compensation. If there's any viability gap, the government will come in and finance the viability gap. So this way, when the sector is de-risked, then we see PPP projects moving into the sector. And therefore, investors who are here, those who can invest in last mile connectivity, there's a package for you. Those who can invest in the reduction of non-revenue water, there's a package for you. Those who can invest in drilling boreholes and giving the neighbors water, there's a package for you. So we ask all investors to come into the sector and invest. So for this particular region, I want just to show you, tell you how we are doing in terms of water supply, improved sanitation, and urban sewerage. There were figures which are mentioned in the morning. Yeah, we do not know the source, but in Kenya you can get so many data, depending on where the data is coming from. But as a ministry, when we are doing the investment planning, this is how this region was doing. Homa Bay County was at 55% in terms of water, 75% in terms of sanitation, and only 8% in terms of sewerage. So you can see how that county is doing. Kisii is doing 53% in terms of water, 75% in terms of sanitation, and only 9% in terms of sewerage. So like that, you can see the sewerage in Migori, 1%. So that's the worst in terms of sewerage in the region. And here you can see 3%. So there's really need to invest in sewerage facilities, sanitation facility for the people in this region, because this improves the livelihood, this improves the well-being, this improves the dignity of the people. So in the next slide, I still want just to emphasize that this region is a blessed region. You can see Lake Victoria North. Up to 2050, that ratio will still be 28%. So that is the region which will not go through water scarcity in the foreseeable future. The region of Kakamega, Bungoma, Trans Nzoia. The region of Nyanza, these counties of Nyanza, they will go up to 50% 2030, and then come down if we do investment to the benchmark, the limit ratio of 45%. So that means we need to develop more sources. We need to develop groundwater sources. We need to undertake interbasin water transfer. We need to do a proper program for water resources management, catchment protection, and of course, lake basin management strategy need to be implemented so that we have got water resources for the region into the foreseeable future. I normally tell people that, for example, Nairobi by 2050, if we don't get, this is just an example, if we don't get good groundwater sources, by 2050, we'll be getting water from Indian Ocean. So some of the completed projects in the region are many. I will not go through all of them. There are many. I just want to scan through. You have seen we have completed Homa Bay Water Cluster, which was commissioned in 1 year ago at a cost of 1.1 with financing from the Belgium government. We have completed Kindu Bay, Oyugis, at a cost, the two of them at a cost of also close to 1 billion with the financing from Africa Development Bank. We have completed Migori. We have completed Kisii, Migori, Africa Development Bank, Kisii, KFW. So that means the government has given this region priority in terms of water development. Nyamira, Siaya. So you can see the investment level that has come into this region in the last 3 years, 5.3 billion. And you can see that the distribution of that investment, what has gone to Homa Bay, what has gone to all these other counties. The ongoing projects are also many. Ongoing investment by the government are many. You can see Homa Bay is still going, West Karachuonyo. West Karachuonyo is purely a geocache investment. Migori, we are doing that. Orongo is purely geocache investment. Kisumu, we have got AFD, and we are investing that level or that amount of investment. So this is to give people water, give people dignity. And you can see the ongoing investment in summary, 3.8 billion, and we are targeting those beneficiaries, 138,000 households. So proposed projects, which are also lined up for investment, You can see we are still have Homa Bay because Homa Bay last mile connectivity is very poor. Yugi's last mile connectivity is very poor. All that range of package is investments that are now proposed and will be starting in the next few months because we have got the financing from Africa Development Bank. And of course, you can see it is a whole range of investment. So the emphasis I'm giving here is that the government is not letting this region go down in terms of investment. A lot of investment. Kisumu is still going on. Kisii is still going on under KFW. Migori, Siaya, they are all still going on. So this is now opportunities for investment in the sector. Just go back to the next slide, whoever is managing this, yeah. So these are the opportunities for PPPs in the region. PPPs in the region, we have Kokwanyo Dam, 3.3 billion. We have Kibos Dam, 4.5 billion. We have Gogo Dam. Gogo Dam was mentioned in the morning that this is supposed to improve water, provide water for Lower Kuja irrigation scheme. So we are looking for investment to implement this dam because Lower Kuja will be one of the largest irrigation scheme in the country in the foreseeable future. 70,000 acres of land and also producing 25 megawatts of power. We have got Magwaga Dam. Magwaga Dam was mentioned in the morning. A cost of 21 billion. And you can see that it's going to produce a lot of water. It's going to produce power, 100 megawatts of power. So Magwaga Dam, currently we are discussing with some companies from Japan. They are very much interested in this dam, particularly because of the power production under PPP. So we hope that they will soon submit their PIP report so that they can move through the stages up to project negotiation and groundbreaking. And then we have Onyunyu Dam. This is the dam between Kisii and Nyamira, a very potential, very high viability. It is very feasible because of the population there is very big. The population in Nyamira, the population in Kisii, if you get an investor, this dam is able to return the investment. And then there's Soin Koru. Soin Koru was also mentioned severally in the morning. This is a dam that we have contracted at 19.6 billion. We contracted in 2021, purely for GOK. But then when we started implementation, we realized we could not sustain GOK. So we advertised under PPP. It has not attracted any investor. But likely about 2 weeks ago, it attracted an investor who is saying it's not going to do it as a PPP, but it's going to provide concessional financing. It's going to provide concessional financing so that we implement this dam. This dam is a solution for the irrigation, for the flooding in Nyando Basin. It's going to provide some little amount of power, and it's going to improve irrigation for the irrigation schemes in Ahero and West Kano, all those areas. We also have opportunities for last mile connectivity. So if investors who are interested, as a government, we are going on with the concessional financing to implement last mile connectivity. But if investors are interested, this is a low-lying fruit. The same to non-revenue water. We have advertised non-revenue water for Nairobi and Mombasa. So we need investors to come and do non-revenue water management. That is project management on project management basis. And then you get your money, your return from the what you have saved from getting lost. And of course, all these other processes. We move on. So there are opportunities, decentralized wastewater treatment, because you saw how low the country is in terms of sanitation, in terms of sewerage system, waste collection, household financing for putting tanks. So all range of opportunities are available in the sector. Now, when it comes to irrigation, this region has not benefited much in terms of irrigation, but now it is being focused, it's on the radar, that we want to improve on a higher irrigation scheme. A higher irrigation scheme to increase acreage by 10,810 to benefit about 30,000 farmers, and West Kano. Yeah, so all that Aero is already going on a turnkey project. And then we have got others. All that Bunyala has just been improved, but it's still going. The Migori, we have got Lower Kuja, which has got the highest potential in the country. If you can do Gogo Dam. And of course, we have got other new schemes. And these are the one that is Gunga Sare irrigation scheme in Nyamira, in Bondo. We have other irrigation scheme, Nyaboaite irrigation scheme in Nyamira. Suba cluster irrigation scheme. So these are irrigation schemes that are, they have already been designed, waiting for investment. I think the National Irrigation Authority in the near future is going to start the one that is listed there as Olambwe, the other one called Konyango, and another one called Nyamaji, to put this area under irrigation. Bondo also, I think irrigation scheme is also starting, Aero West Kano, Lower Kuja, all these are being, this line is put there just to compare the investment that farmers get, the opportunities that farmers get. You can see the number of farmers for Aero. Area under irrigation for Aero and area under irrigation for Mwea. Mwea is very big, but we have got more farmers in Aero, in Mwea Pia, and you can see the annual return, annual production. And then you can see value of crop, the return that farmers get. Aero is annually 3.1 billion. Mwea, annually 9.1 billion. So this is creating wealth. This is a source of wealth for the people. So this tells us that there's money in agriculture. There's money in farming. 3.1 billion is not little money. 9.1 billion is not little money either. So if we can improve on irrigation, we can do more irrigation, then we can take our people out of the poverty line, on irrigation. So we need to invest on irrigation. I believe that's the last slide. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I wish the hall was full so that all of us can hear this story. Thank you.
Okay. I'm waiting for the presentation. Colleagues, you can assist me with the presentation.
Could we have the next presentation shared or projected?
Okay, as it is projected, I can be introducing myself. I'm Engineer Joseph Kamau, working with Adi Waterworks Development Agency. We are actually responsible for water and sanitation services in the great metropolitan region of Nairobi. And the PowerPoint is here. I'm joined with my colleagues whom we work with. Some are outside in the exhibition, but we continue. Our title today is Sustainable Harnessing of Water Sources, as the title indicates. So welcome. And we thought that this is good presentation for the Nyanza region so that we can do benchmarking with what we are doing in Nairobi. So the next slide. Next slide. The contents are as indicated. The water and sanitation sector requires a lot of innovation, as this can unlock a lot of potential and also enhance domestic manufacturing sector. And through the presentation, we shall be showcasing innovations that we have done towards sustainable development. Of course, this Engineer Arima has repeated about the classifications of the Kenyan water availability and allocation per capita, so we can proceed on. So, because of the challenges that water is facing, there is need to innovate so that the solutions that we provide are able to be sustainable, to provide affordable services, and we provide appropriate solutions to ensure water security. And what we can do is we need to develop climate resilience, water treatment technologies. We apply smart water management systems, green energy solutions, eco-friendly sanitation solutions, and of course involve our communities in the water and sanitation space. That is the Kenyan Constitution. I believe this one, my colleague, the Water Secretary, has delved in it a lot, so I think we can continue on. These are, we have an enabling piece of legislation which is geared towards investments in the water sector, and at least Engineer Arima has said about, has reported about the private public partnerships and the amendments that have been done in the last one in the Water Act 2016. They provide a framework granting the water development agencies to enter into public-private partnerships in financing the development and maintenance of water infrastructure. We can enhance the functions of Water Works development agencies to be bulk water providers. And we can, it has also enabled the sector regulator to regulate the water services provision through bulk tariffs. And also this cross references with the PPP Act of 2016. These are some of the pictorial images of how the situation is. That is harnessing the tunnel. I think we can continue on. This is the Northern Collector Tunnel at the exit, a 12-kilometer water services intervention, which I believe what Engineer Arima is talking of, Bunyunyu, Magwagwa, and Soinkoru could be having this. So that we can do interbasin transfers. These are water storage treatment plants, and on your right is a water treatment that is producing about 140 million liters every day for the city of Nairobi, and other network of storage reservoirs in Nairobi. We can continue. We have developed a dam, which is called Karimeno Dam, which serves the Nairobi metropolitan region with a total of 73 million liters. That one serves the area of Nairobi and the neighboring towns. Together with, it has a storage capacity of 26 billion liters. And this involved a lot of resettlement and livelihood restoration, of about acquisition of 700 acres and resettlement of about 5,000 persons. And these are some of the challenges that investments, working together with the government and county governments, we are able to produce. And the storage reservoirs, as Engineer Arima has reported about, so in Koru and the Magwawa Dam, I think those are, these are systems that are sustainable to ensure that the region has adequate water supply. Let's proceed. That is a bird's eye view of how the reservoir looks like. That is the Karimeno reservoir. It's now, and then now we go to the adoption of green energy, solar modules. We are generating 1.5 megawatts to power the Oroitoktok water supply project, which serves the neighboring, the border town of Oroitoktok. We are also for community-based projects. They are solar-powered, and also use of smart meters to reduce the non-revenue water, and construction of biocenters in various informal settlements of Nairobi to improve sanitation and provide adequate sanitation to the residents of the city. Those are some of the solar farms that are assisting in pumping water to Oroitoktok town. I think we can proceed on. Those are some of the sanitation solutions that are being done and involvement of communities in cleaning up of various river basins in Nairobi. So rainwater harvesting for individual households is being done and various institutions, and currently about 100 public institutions have benefited from this initiative. I think this is some of type of the planned projects for that region. We have various dams also going to serve the Nairobi metropolitan region, and this is consistent with what I've heard about this region. Also, they are also not planned. We hope that also when we plan investment in Nairobi, we will be able to get some investors for this. The future project perspectives on financing of water projects. We expect that the bulk water operations will continue being a source that can generate some financing for programs, PPPs. We are imagining that wastewater treatment plants, water resource recovery, energy generation, and material recovery will be a thing of the past, and this is where investors can come in. And of course, we have opportunities for efficient operations where private parties can assist in ensuring that the operational efficiency is enhanced. And we have innovative resource mobilizations to take advantage of the climate funds. Yeah. Catchment conservation, this is also, you know, Nairobi is in the eastern Aberdare, so communities and other stakeholders should be able to move and conserve the catchment so that we have secure and continued water supply of the sources. Areas that may require innovative interventions, and this is where there are investment opportunities, high energy costs, aspects of ensuring that our operations are a bit not costly, and there is need to adopt renewable energy sources such as solarization. We have reduced water resources while the demands are increasing, so we need to ensure that our operations are efficient to ensure that the increasing consumer are met. Climate change effects, we have issues on drought, the huge financing requirements, high levels of non-revenue water, and of course we have the challenges of land acquisition and also the vandalism. I think these are areas that working together we can find opportunities where stakeholders can invest in the water sector and see how we can manage to deliver services to the people. I think this brings us to the end, but I have a video which you can play. I think just to as a climax. of all this. I think, Collins, you can assist. This is a video of how we are doing. There's
built as a part of the 4th Nairobi Water Supply Project, this 11.8-kilometer tunnel delivers clean water from the rivers of Murang'a to the city of Nairobi. The journey starts in the Murang'a region, where water is drawn from the rivers. Specially designed valves control how much water enters the tunnel, and flow meters monitor the system in real time, ensuring that every drop is accounted for and efficiently delivered to Nairobi. At the Kigoro Water Treatment Plant, the first step in purifying the water is aeration. Oxygen is added to the water, which helps to remove unwanted gases and oxidized metals like iron and magnesium, making the water cleaner and clearer. Next is the coagulation process. We add coagulants, chemicals that help small particles stick together to form larger clouds called flocs. These flocs make it easier to filter out impurities, improving the quality of the water. In the clarification process, tiny air bubbles are added to the water, lifting the flocs to the surface. These are then skimmed away, leaving only the clean water below. This technology ensures that any remaining impurities are removed efficiently. Once clarified, the water passes through sand filters. The sand traps any remaining dirt or particles, ensuring that the water is even clearer and free of debris. To ensure that the water is free from harmful bacteria and viruses, it passes through a UV disinfection system. The UV light kills microorganisms without adding any chemicals to the water, making it safe to drink. Finally, a small amount of chlorine is added to keep the water clean as it travels to homes and businesses. The treated water is stored in large reservoirs ready to be distributed to all of Nairobi. During the treatment process, impurities are collected as sludge. This sludge is treated and safely disposed of, while any remaining water is recycled back into the system, ensuring minimal waste. Thanks to the Northern Collector Tunnel, clean, safe water now flows in the homes of millions, as well as schools, hospitals, and major industries like EPZ and Runda. This project ensures that the people of Nairobi have access to the water they need for a healthier and brighter future. From the treatment plant, water flows through a vast pipeline network to Nairobi, one of the central distribution points in Nairobi. From here, the water is stored and distributed to the neighborhoods across the city. Nairobi's intricate water distribution network ensures that clean, treated water reaches every corner of the city. From large industries to individual households, this last-mile delivery system brings life-sustaining water to over 1.2 million people. This monumental project is a result of a partnership between the Kenyan and French governments. With the crucial support from the French Development Agencies, AFDB, and the Ministry of Water, this collaboration has brought life-sustaining water to Nairobi. Together, we are building infrastructure that ensures a sustainable future for generations to come. The Northern Collector Tunnel is more than just a project. It's a tunnel of life. By providing reliable access to clean water, this tunnel is transforming Nairobi, securing the future of businesses, families, and communities.
Thank
With
you.
this vital infrastructure in place, Nairobi's
Thank you.
future
Thank you.
is brighter. Its growth is secure, and its people empowered.
Thank you. Thank you.
And we are at the water.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much. As we prepare for the next presentation by Georgina, about 10 minutes, I want to just advise if you have any queries or questions.
Moderator, maybe you can use your mic.
You just prepare them. We'll give you an opportunity to ask.
Use mic.
It's not tricky.
You use that.
Good afternoon. and I'm happy to be here. My name is Georgina. I will be very, very brief. So before we start, you look like you're about to fall asleep. Please don't fall asleep on me. I'll try to be as brief as possible. So I want to start with a very obvious yet very ignored question. What percentage of youth cover the population in Africa right now? Just anybody from the... What do you think is the percentage of the youth in Africa? I had a 60, that's actually very correct. Youth occupy about 60% of the population in Africa. And out of the 60%, in Nyanza alone, the population from all the Nyanza counties is at least 40% youth, okay? So who am I? My name is Georgina Kerubo. I serve in many capacities. I'm not gonna bore you with that. But if you want to see me, I will talk to you and bore you with that stuff, yeah? So how are youth involved in climate and activism and climate action? So the role of youth in climate action, for one, at least we have covered how much they cover in a population. And that means, what does that mean? Food for thought, yeah? For things to actually work, you need to involve the youth. Not just talk for the youth, but bring them into spaces and tables where decisions are being made. You cannot keep saying the youth say, the youth did. Bring the youth. Let them tell us what they want. Let them tell us what they're facing as difficulties, as challenges, and how they can be helped. Stop talking for the youth. Talk with the youth. Stop making them... My teacher of English used to say, reported speech, yes? Why are you reporting on behalf of the youth? Let the youth talk on their own behalf, because they deserve a space on tables where decisions are made. At the end of the day, they face these challenges. They are the ones you're living with these challenges. What do you expect them to do if you keep talking for them and not them talking on their own behalf? So the role of youth in climate action. Youth as agents of change across the globe, they have been at the forefront of climate activism, driving movements like Fridays for Future and youth-led climate strikes. And in regions like Nyanza, with its youthful population, the potential for impactful action is even greater. Young people in Nyanza are already involved in innovative climate initiatives, such as tree planting campaigns, sustainable agricultural practices, and renewable energy practices. As my co-speaker is gonna speak, because I also have projects that I do. But what she does, I am happy. I am happy because you are doing what we want to see. You are bringing the youth to do what they want to do, not what people want them to do. That's the difference. And I am happy for you, Bella. Personally, I serve as, out of my very many hats, I serve as the Sustainability Coordinator for ISISA Foundation, where we are coming up with creative solutions to protect the environment, reduce waste, and advocate for clean energy. The potential for scalable, locally driven solutions is immense, but these people, we need support. I need support. As a member of ISISA Foundation, as a member of the very many other organizations of the youth that I am. In a global perspective, the youth involvement isn't just a local concern, it's a global movement. In Africa, the youth represent more than 60%, as we already saw, and that demographic is leading the charge on climate solutions that benefit not only their communities, but the world. I'm not gonna bring up examples of what we've done as Kenyan youth. It's been out there, it's been a role model to other youths. I'm not gonna talk about that. Next slide, please. So why is youth involvement crucial? One, they are uniquely positioned to tackle climate change because one, of course they will inherit its impacts. I mean, I'm sorry to say, but engineer you're phasing out, yes? It's your child, your grandchild after that that is gonna be like, oh my God, my county is flooding, what am I supposed to do? I'm sorry, you probably might be long dead. You've left them with no way to make a solution. What next? You leave a generation that cannot stand on its own. And that is why I keep insisting, have the youth on board. For solutions to be there, they need to know where the grassroots problem is, okay? They need to understand that if you solve this problem in the Lake Basin, in the next few years, we'll not be experiencing floods. If you sort this problem with water hyacinth, we will not be having the problems we're having at the lake. Yes? But if you keep saying, oh, we sat at a board, discussed, what does that help me? What if you face out of that board, what do I know I'm supposed to do? Where do I start? You'll just tell me it's flooding. Okay, it's flooding. So where do I start? Bring the youth on board. So it's basically what is there, how we are affected, how they will be around the longest, and yada, yada, yada. So as long-term solutions, we have the passion. I am here. People assume I am way older. Nah, I am a kid. But that's the thing. I am passionate about what happens in my home. I am passionate, like, I have to wake up and figure out what the problem is for me to be able to come up with a solution. So the creativity and the energy, it's there. And they have a long commitment. And as we push for climate justice, youth will be instrumental in ensuring the solutions are not just temporary, but sustainable for future generations. Next slide. So, how do you help us? Most importantly, and I think I can say kudos to our parents, you've invested in our education. But other than education, other than what we are doing in class, what else do we need? Teach us how to be entrepreneurs, teach us how to make renewable energy technologies, sustainable agriculture, project management, how to communicate. It is one thing to bring me on board. It's another thing for me to actually talk about what is going on and make sense to you, for you to give me your funds. Okay? I can sit with a donor, but if I do not know how to communicate and articulate what the problem is and how I plan on getting a solution, then you're not helping me. So as much as you're bringing me on board, bring me on board with a collective hand of this is how you will maneuver once you get to this space. I do not know how to. I am willing to learn. Are you willing to listen and to teach, is the question. Are you willing to let your kids ask you, Dad, so this is the political situation in our country. How do we go about it? Because at the end of the day, they are going to make the decisions that most affect us. So investors can also support youth-led startups and climate solutions by providing seed funding or partnerships, and they can enable young innovators to scale their businesses, such as clean energy solutions or eco-friendly technologies. These investments not only address the environmental crisis, but they also create sustainable livelihoods for youth. So the private-public partnerships can be key in unlocking these potentials, and government and private organizations must collaborate to create platforms where young leaders can showcase their ideas, access funding, and connect with mentors who can guide them in scaling their project. So for my call to action, which is on the next slide, regarding how much of the population that we cover as youth, we cannot afford to wait any longer. The youth of today, which is me, your son, your nephew, your niece, are ready to act, but they need your support, okay? Whether through investment in education, funding for green startups, or mentorship, we must empower the leaders of tomorrow, today. So inspiration, investing in youth isn't just an act of philanthropy. It's an investment to our collective future. Let's ensure that the leaders of Nyanza and the world have the tools and resources to tackle the climate challenges we face. Together, we can build a sustainable future driven by young people who are already creating solutions we need. And as a final thought, I would like to quote one of the renowned climate activist Greta Thunberg, and she once said, "We cannot solve a crisis without treating it as a crisis." We cannot, can you just digest that for a minute? We cannot solve a crisis without treating it as a crisis. So let us invest in our youth, empower their leadership, and build a resilient and sustainable future for all. Thank you very much.
Give a round of applause. We have a...
Let's have our last presenter.
No, second.
Then after...
Second last.
She's a panelist.
Last
she's a
speaker is
panelist.
Bella. Then we have our first reaction from the panelists.
It was a well thought out panel.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Belmi Kipruto. I'm the CEO and founder of Ustawi Organic Farms, where we convert organic waste into bioproducts, and we also use pyrolysis in the sector of biochar. I'm here today as an entrepreneur in the waste sector and in turn in the climate space. I want to talk about, can go to the next slide kindly, the power of innovation in Nyanza. When it comes to climate actions and waste management, Nyanza, specifically Kisumu, we are only second to Rwanda in East Africa. And this is through eco-friendly energies and sustainable agriculture. And through this, we realized we can link the two, which is waste management and sustainable agriculture. Because agricultural waste makes a huge percentage of organic waste that is produced. Kenya produces 60% of organic waste, and most of this just ends up in the landfills, causing pollution because of the emission of methane. And this is the reason why empowering entrepreneurs in this sector, in this space, is very important, because we are the only entrepreneurs, I dare wish to say that, we are the only entrepreneurs or innovators who put planet and people first before profit. So we always put planet first, then the people, then profit comes as a reward. And who doesn't like money, right? And so I believe we should be put in the forefront of investment. Because growing up, I remember January was known as a very dry month. But in Kisumu, we've been experiencing a lot of rain in January, yet people say climate change is a hoax. Is it really? Is it? Yeah. Next slide, please. So for entrepreneurs like myself in the green sector, the biggest challenge we encounter is lack of funding, because people have not really been able to understand this sector, because it's still somehow new, and people view waste as waste. People don't view waste as a resource. So if we can get more investors coming in to support innovators in this field, I believe we might be able to overcome these barriers. And then knowledge gaps, as I said, little is still, more is still to be known, and little is known. For instance, what we do with insect technology, we realize BSFL has the power to, it has microbes, and this can be used in the pharmaceuticals, but there's little to no research in this area. So if we can fill the knowledge gaps this way, it will inform investors on how to fund this sector. Another is infrastructure limitations. It is very capital intensive to operate an organization such as mine. So if more can be put into it, we can be able to scale up, therefore uptaking more. And with circular economy, we are people who try to get as much from resources as possible before we dispose it. Currently, Kenya is operating at a linear system where we just produce, use, and dispose. But with circularity, we try and ask ourselves, how can we, before disposing, what more can we get from this resource before disposing it? Next slide, kindly. So a call to action in helping entrepreneurs in this sector to overcome barriers is to establish investment hub. Kenya, we are somehow okay because we have KCIC who are doing a very good job in incubations and accelerations, but it is still not yet enough. Then we have policy. For instance, we don't even have policies on KEBS when it comes to products that are gotten from waste. Another one is to develop market linkages. Give us markets. Please give us markets. And then foster collaboration. This is with development partners. Banks should also relook on how they're financing such enterprises. Next. So what is the role of community in driving change? Communities need to shift their perspectives, recognizing young people, as Georgina has said, because we are very innovative, we are very skillful, and so if we are given these chances and these spaces to speak and actually contribute, I believe we can be able to revolutionize this space. So investing in sustainable solutions, at Ustawi, we are proof that you can see how investing in sustainable solutions can transform lives. And with the right resources and support for young innovators, can build profitable ventures and tackle climate challenges. And then our youth have the potential to create a sustainable future for all of us. The vision ahead is to invest in potential. Africa has a record of not respecting innovation and entrepreneurs. We tend to respect politicians, which is not a bad thing, but for us to move to be a developed country, such as the US, they respect entrepreneurs. They give entrepreneurs seed. They believe in potential even before they see. But in Kenya, you can have a prototype, you can even have an operational business, but still getting funding is very, very hard. Or raising seed capital is very, very hard. And then overcoming barriers that I've mentioned and empowering young innovators. And of course, when you invest in green entrepreneurs, you're guaranteed for a sustainable future. And so, lastly, is just to have a collective effort to empower people in these spaces, because it's a very vast space. When you look on organic waste, plastic waste, water waste, with the human fecals, organic waste, and even glass. So I believe that's all I have for today. Thank you for giving me your ears. Asanteni sana.
Thank you. As you prepare any reactions from the plenary, we are a bit short of time, but I'd like to ask our panelists to come and have the first reaction.
Thank you so much. Good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon.
Thank you. My name is Victoria Adwet. I'm the founder of the Kisumu Youth Wash Parliament. Kisumu Youth Wash Parliament is a youth-led, youth-driven organization in Kisumu. We deal specifically in matters water, sanitation, and hygiene, as well as WRM, and also climate action. And I can say a brief history of what made us to come up with the Kisumu Youth Wash Parliament is because we saw that there was a gap in the society when it comes to involving the youth, when it comes to having practical solutions to some of the things that are going on in the community. A good example is when a water service provider talks about non-revenue water and the numbers are high. And we were like, we can actually involve youth within this community to be reporting, because youth are known to leverage on technology, to be reporting on such matters. You see, with that, we would be working hand in hand with the government to ensure that we reduce non-revenue water. Another thing that made us to come into place is because we have the freshwater lake here, yet it gets polluted by the day. So some of the things we have been doing include going to the communities and finding out how best can we solve this problem, because you find the rot or the pollution that ends up in the lake does not start from there. It starts from other regions or other counties, and the lake is just an end point. So some of the initiatives that we've come up with is really involving using social media to educate and sensitize and capacity build the community to know on the best practices of taking care of our water resources. And that leads me to the first question. It goes to Engineer Alima. Just as the last two presenters have talked about, you find that the solution is with us. But there is a lot of bureaucracy when it comes to some of these problems. A good example is what I've told you. How do we manage the waste? Waste has been a big problem when it comes to our counties. How do we manage this waste? Just as the previous speaker has talked about, she's handling organic waste, and you find that in our dump sites, organic waste is the biggest menace that we are dealing with. When you're coming to water pollution, you find that groups like Kisumu Youth Wash exist, and they can actually be used appropriately to bring about solutions to some of these problems, because we possess the ideas, but nobody is tapping onto them. There is a lot of bureaucracy when it comes to leveraging on the innovative ideas that we have as young people. So how best can the government, be it at national level or at the county level, work with young people, tap onto the potential of these young people who are driven by the need to see the actual change? How can the duty bearers take advantage of this and ensure that we are making our society, our Kenya, a better place, and ensuring that water security is at the forefront of what we are doing, because all other industries depend on water. Thank you.
Thank you so much for that question, which is a very good question indeed. Now, over the years, we have treated waste as something that should not be thought about. We have, particularly human waste, we have treated it as something that should not even be touched, something that you should not see. And therefore, I want to thank the youth for bringing that culture change, because I'm working with several youth groups in Nairobi. There's one called Mazingira Yetu. They clean the river, they take the solid waste to areas where there should be, but more important is cleaning the river, the act of seeing that the river which is polluted is recovered. The river that is polluted is recovered, and they collect the solid waste, and they use that solid waste. Some are being used to make baskets, make chairs, yeah, to recover what's supposed to be useful, and it is being used. So the idea of working with the youth at this stage is a pregnant idea, because the youth are adventurous. They are not like us, old people. All the people who went to school and saw the culture of being cleaned, the culture of not wanting to venture into new things. When it comes to non-revenue water, we lose a lot of water. For example, in Kisumu here, we lose 38%. Yeah, and it's going down. Kisumu is doing well. Nairobi, we lose around 40%. Overall, we lose 43%. But we have been asking utilities, first of all, to uptake technology, which you have talked about here. Uptake of technology is low in the sector. Introduce smart metering so that you are able to have your audit, water audit well done. You are able to have your water balance well done. Work with the people to tell you where they have seen the leak. Because some leak can appear on the surface. Some leak, particularly what we call the weeping leak, will take time. You can see the ground wet, but you will not know it is your clean water. But if you engage people, and they will see that even if it is dry, it has not rained for 2 months, but a place is wet, that means water is coming from the ground to report. That is taking the time to do. So it is important that we work with the youth. It is important that we engage them. It is important that we work together with them to solve problems, so that the society can live better. I want to just surprise you, the three of us, the three engineers who are here, are from the same school. I've just realized when we were here that we were at one time in the same school. Thank you.
Thank you. I'm sorry we have eaten into your time, and there's supposed to be another session after this. So I'll just ask for 5 minutes, if you allow, just to get some reactions from the floor, if any. Okay. I can see 4 hands. So we'll start with the lady who raised her hand first. And then we'll have one of the gentlemen here who raised their hand. And the last is the gentleman in blue overcoat. Thank you. So we start with you. Go ahead.
Thank you very much. Mine is very brief, and I guess it's more of a comment. I'm Sheila Olang. I'm an economist, and I'm from Migori County. Mine is just to encourage the youth that I'm seeing up there. Please continue speaking and fighting. And I especially liked that it was young women that we're discussing. So mine is just to say kudos and to encourage you guys to keep talking. We're here and we're very proud of you. That's it.
Good afternoon. My name is Joash Asiko. Thank you so much for a wonderful presentation. I have several questions, but in a few, I'll ask the few based on time. My first question goes to Victoria Agduet. Personally, I've heard that you are from Kisumu Youth Wash Parliament. So I just have a question. How do you work closely with the government to ensure that you do your activities of advocacy? And going back to Georgina, thank you for a wonderful thing you are doing. You have said so well that we should not bore you with different capacities under which you serve. But my concern is, I believe, but not to assume you are a young person, under your capacity, what are some of the things you have done in order to make sure that meaningful youth are being involved in the right spaces? This is something we have fight so far, and at times we normally hear it in a boardroom, we say meaningful involvement. And back to the panelists, how I wish whatever we discuss, you put it into implementation. Back to the presentation of Athi, I've realized that you do a lot of projects, the government on inside, but my concern is about the investors who want to come in with projects apart from the government, which can improve on the water sector and access to water. So perhaps they are having projects under your policies, the policies which have been put in place, such as the policies under the land issues to do with the title deeds. Are they conducive for the partners to come in, and what are you doing about it? Back to you. Thank you so much.
Thank you. The gentleman behind there, please. We cannot take all the questions, but just a representative.
Thank you so much. I just want to appreciate the presenters and also raise a concern as an irrigation agent. I work for an organization called Kickstart across the southern Nyanza. And my question is to the first presenter. Can you actually come up with some policies that favors the smallholder farmers? Because I would use in Homa Bay, we have some tunnels made, and you find they're very close to smallholder farmers. But if you approach them, maybe you want to have some interaction with them, do a demo for them, you find there's some obstacle that come up to actually declines the farmers not to use the tunnels. And I believe if they are allowed, that means they can have some food all around the year without any challenge.
The question is not very clear to... I'm
saying,
yes.
From the first presentation, that is direct question I'm sending to him, that I'm a sales irrigation agent. I work for an organization called Kickstart, and I promote moneymaker pumps for smallholder farmers. Yes. Now my question is, if I happen to approach some smallholder farmers who are along the tunnels, like the tunnels in Homa Bay, you find there's some obstacle placed that the farmers cannot use the water to irrigate their crops. So is there a way as a national government you can intervene and also help the small farmers so that they can be able to irrigate?
You are saying you are prevented or from...
The farmers are, actually they are not supposed to use the water.
Oh, okay.
Yes. Again, to our last presenter, I would like to ask maybe if you can share where you are based in Kisumu, because as I mentioned, I'm a irrigation agent, and I work very closely with youths. So if you are owning some youths, we work very closely with other partners to actually make sure that youths actually they can have self-employment, food, money in their pocket through irrigated agriculture. So maybe if we'll have to share your contact so that from this, after this, we can have some link.
I think that is the last question. We will have reactions so that we allow the next session to proceed. If you have any other question, please write it on a piece of paper and pass it on to me. I'll give it to the panelists for the purpose of record. Thank you. So, who is going first? Georgina? Those things? Okay.
programs, we simultaneously enable economic empowerment by creating employment opportunities. Allow me a minute to explain that. If I come from Nyamira County, there are people in the north, and we know in the north we kind of face drought and animals die. What do you do with the bonds? Do you just let them go and bonds don't rot like flesh? What can you do with those bonds? You can make jewelry, you can make something to wear as a sense of fashion. If I come to your community and train you as a young person to change that carcass bones into jewelry and offer you a market where you can sell this jewelry, am I empowering you or am I not? I am not here to take charge of your home. I am here to make your home better, but through you. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you. Was there a question for you? There's a
Victoria
question.
had a question, yeah.
Yes.
Hello, can you get me? Yeah. All right. I was asked how we are working with the government and what is the sustainability plan. Let me give you an example now that our city manager is here. Being a youth organization, youth-led, youth-driven, we have youth across all the sub-counties in Kisumu County. So you find there was a specific area that had an issue with waste. And because we understand which every entity, which body within the government is responsible for what, we took photos as a youth organization and we walked to the city manager's office because it was within the jurisdiction. And we told him that this is what is happening in this particular region and something needs to be done. And I'm very proud to say that something was done. So we first start by understanding what is the role of all these offices that exist and what are the policy frameworks that support some of the things that we would do, and we do not shy off from taking the action that we feel should be taken. Yes. So that is part of what we do as an organization. To my second question on the sustainability aspect, we have a school program every Friday, once a month, because we as youth, we did not get some of this information early enough, but now we are nurturing the younger generation. We are going to young children and telling them, you know what, this is how you can protect your water bodies because water is a big issue. And lastly, we were part of a sensitization and awareness campaign known as Catchment to Tap. We were teaching the community that water does not come from the tap, it comes from the catchment, hence there is need to take care of our catchment areas. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
And on to my contact, I don't know whether to say it loud or to give him my business card later.
Give your business
it's up to you.
Safer that way for your security.
All right, I'll share my business card after this. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, there was a question about the water and what are the investment opportunities. They are there, and we can discuss them. Some are simple. You can assist in non-revenue water interventions, sanitation management, operations, and I think we can discuss more even after this meeting. You asked about the issue of RAD. The government is responsible for land appropriation, so any investor will be assisted on that area. Thank you.
Hello.
They refused to put their marks on.
Yeah, I just want to respond on the issue of bureaucracies and being denied water to do irrigation. Our Irrigation Act, our regulations, our strategies, and our policy, we encourage irrigation. Even when we do small dams, we encourage community to do irrigation. Kitchen gardening, because if you give people water, they will also need food. So the issue of being denied water to do irrigation will not be there. I wish I know a particular reason, because we have an irrigation scheme there called Kimiral Watch. But every time we pass through that road, we find the women washing from the irrigation canals instead of using water to grow food. So I'm much interested in knowing details, particular, where you are denied and why you are denied, so that appropriate action is taken. Because that irrigation scheme costed 2.8 billion. And it was completed around 2016. And we see it is run down. Either people are watering their cows, or they are washing clothes instead of growing food. And recently we discussed of change of management of that irrigation scheme to go to a proper place from where it is now being managed from. Because we want people to grow food. It is good to wash clothes. It is good to water your animals. But the first priority, the primary goal where the government invested there was for food production. So kindly give me a particular reason why you have been denied so that appropriate action can be taken. I know when you are abstracting water from water resources, you must be licensed. You must go to Water Resources Authority and Water Resources Authority will license you to use that water for any purpose that you want to do with the water. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Let's give a round of applause to the panel here. Thank you very much, and thank you for listening. We hand over this to the main moderator to take us to the next session. Thank you.
Yes, please, a round of applause. I know you're expecting, we have a photographer right to the back as well. So maybe we can just quickly pause as the gentleman is getting ready for our final picture, and also just inviting you all to the next session. So thank you so much. Ladies and gentlemen, please give a round of applause. This marks the end of the conversation on education. So in water and sanitation, irrigation and climate. It's good to note that there are classmates who've classmates have been reunited on stage, which is really great, and the young women as well, future leaders or current leaders, I believe. So please give a round of applause, ladies and gentlemen. I am really grateful that we've kept this to time as well. Before I release you and tell you what we have for you, I'm honored to have Michael Abala Wanga, who is the Kisumu City Manager. Before I invite him on stage, ladies and gentlemen, allow me to showcase to you a video of the great transformation that is taking place in Kisumu County, of course, as part of the Nyanza region and, of course, the Lake Region Economic Bloc.
Welcome to Kisumu City, Kenya's lakeside gem, a hub of vibrant history, culture, and promising horizons. From its foundation to its city status, Kisumu tells a story of resilience, transformation, and opportunity. Our journey begins in the late 19th century as Kisumu emerged as a vital railway terminus and trade center by the shores of Lake Victoria. Originally a small port town, Kisumu's strategic position at the lakehead shaped its early prosperity and established it as a cornerstone of commerce in the western region. Under the leadership of Governor Professor Nyong'o, Kisumu is undergoing transformative development. The city spans 297 square kilometers and is home to approximately 650,000 residents. It serves as Kenya's third largest city and the economic hub of the Lake region. In 2017, Kisumu marked a historic transition, rising from a municipality to a fully recognized city. This elevation reflected not only Kisumu's growth but also its potential as a modern urban center. This change, under Kenya's Urban Areas and Cities Act of 2011, introduced a new governance framework, giving Kisumu the tools to manage its growth sustainably and inclusively. The establishment of Kisumu City formalized its governance structure with a city manager and a board dedicated to strategic oversight.
The dimension the city is taking is going to improve a lot of things. We are dealing with different components of urban development in Kisumu. We have a new geospatial plan, which is called Local, Physical and Land Use Development Plan. It is going to affect the trading zones and the trading areas in the city. It is going to affect directions of sewer system, drainage system. It is going to improve the lighting and security issues within the city.
The city manager, appointed to guide Kisumu's day-to-day operations, works closely with Kisumu City Board, which brings together diverse expertise and voices to chart the city's course forward. Together, they aim to address the city's needs, champion sustainable development, and foster a safe, prosperous environment for residents and visitors alike. Their dedication ensures that every project reflects the aspirations of the people of Kisumu. Each project is a step forward, creating a livable, dynamic, and eco-friendly city. The focus is on not just growth, but growth that is inclusive and benefits all citizens. Guided by the local physical and the land use development plan, Kisumu is divided into 7 growth zones, including Dunga, Nyamasaria, and Kisian. Residential areas like Riat and Milimani complement commercial hubs such as Kondele and Dunga waterfront. The Central Business District is strategically organized into 4 zones, fostering balanced and sustainable urban growth while solidifying Kisumu as a model African city. In conclusion, Kisumu City stands as a testament to growth, culture, and promise. It's a city with a deep-rooted history and inspiring vision for the future. Whether as a visitor, investor, or resident, Kisumu invites you to be part of its unfolding story. A story of progress, opportunity, and shared prosperity by the lake. Welcome to Kisumu, where tomorrow is already taking shape today.
And the man behind that is walking on stage. Please put your hands together for Abala Wanga.
Thank you, moderator. Yes, as we welcome you to this conference, it's important that you know much about the city which is hosting this conference. So we are in the transition of transforming Kisumu into a smart city. The concept of smart city is a city with urban resilience, a resilient city that can withstand flood, disasters, and the rest. So Kisumu has a population currently of almost 500,000, that's 400 and thereabout. A current open space is 155 acres, and it has all 450 square hectares. Then the city of Kisumu is 297 square kilometers in size, and it covers constituencies of Kisumu Central, Kisumu East, and parts of Kisumu West. That's almost 14 wards. So the main economic activities of Kisumu city is a city with agriculture based. We have sugar factories, people grow sugar, vegetables. Our markets are flooded with vegetables and agricultural produce from city environs. We have trade, a lot of trade. We have markets and go downs, and people come to trade, people run warehouses. Then we have the real estate, which is really emerging in Kisumu city now. There are a lot of land transactions and real estate development. Hospitality industry has really grown increasingly now, and we have many hotels coming up. We can now host conference beginning from the Free Cities time to date. So nowadays, if you don't book a flight to Kisumu before Wednesday, as early as possible, you'll find the plane is full, and you might miss your flight. And all the cars are hired by Friday. So the business of hospitality industry is booming. So there's manufacturing. We have factory manufacturing tires, we have sugar factories, we have the Juakali sector for manufacturing. So Kisumu is growing in terms of manufacturing. And I'll tell you why we need to have an industrial zone. Kisumu International is accessed through the roads infrastructure. There's international airport, and there's an improved port. Now we have a port where you can get cargoes from the port to Tanzania and Uganda. Now, Kisumu has the new geospatial plan. The city has undertaken a new geospatial plan, dubbed the Kisumu City Land Use and Physical Development Plan. This plan has zoned Kisumu into 4 zones. There's the urban core, which is the CBD and the lakefront. There's the urban renewal and regeneration area, the informal settlements, and Auji Creek. There's the eastern extension, and there's the northern extension. Northern extension is this side where we are, from Kisian coming down these sides. Then eastern extension is going to Kibos, Chiga, Rabuor, all those sides. So in the eastern extension, in the urban core, we have subdivided them into growth nodes. So in the map, you see we have 8 growth nodes. Initially, there were 7, but now we cannot combine Rabuor and Chiga. So we have Kondele. Kondele should be an urban center of its own. Nyamasaria should now become a serious commercial area. And Chiga and Rabuor and Kibos, those are growth zones. They are going to be agricultural and industrial area. Otonglo and Kisian are also commercial area and residential area. Dunga waterfront is going to be a premier waterfront. Then we have Riat. Riat combines Riat Hills, Kiboswa, Watorego, all those sides. And Riat down this side next to the airport. So you can see those are what we call the growth zones. Those are the centers that they need to have all the infrastructure to have the city growth centers. Now, these growth zones, if we take you through the central business district, which we have cordon the CBD. The CBD is going to be, we have the main CBD, what we called Jaramogi Triangle. The Jaramogi Triangle, Jaramogi Oginga Odinga Sports Ground. The triangle means the highways that go around it. That's the Oginga Odinga Street, Angawa Street, then we have the Aga Khan area. That is the Uhuru Highway where Sarova is. So then we have, that is main CBD, which is CBD 1. Then we have CBD 2A, which is State House Dunga. So you should move from State House, if you move from State House to Dunga, that is what we are calling the lakefront, part of the urban core. So it's stretching down to Dunga. Dunga should be the icon of Kisumu waterfront. And in Dunga, we are going to put there the Broadwalk, a marina, and a promenade, at least 100 meters, where you will walk. A promenade is a well-manicured area along the lake, the example of what Yacht Club has done. So we need a wider one and raised point, so that when Dunga, you can have people where they can park their boats, but you can park your boat there and walk along the waterfront until you reach the Impala. So that is now going to be CBD2A. Then CBD2B is the Aga Khan, Garissa Lodge area, Nyerere Road, extending to Mamba. So all those traders you see there, I've told you, Nyamlori, Garissa Lodge, they'll transfer to markets where they should be. So those areas should be well with non-motorized activity, infrastructure developed, and they are going to be downtown CBD to provide for middle class hotel services and hospitality. Now, there's also CBD2C, from Patel Roundabout to Mega City, where you'll find Ondiek, Anderson, Moi Stadium, and Kisumu Poly. That is CBD2C. So we are going to have that area. It's going to be one of the most populated areas. We have Kisumu Polytechnic, we have 3 affordable estates coming up, we have Arena, we have Ondiek. So estimate you'll have a population of over 10,000 residents. So the streets there should be wide, walkways should be wide, and well beautified, with an upgraded stadium, which the governor is working upon to get investors to upgrade the stadium. But now, Mamba, from Mamba to Patel Roundabout and Kondele, those are entertainment. We want, if you go to Kisumu, it's like you go to Cape Town, you're a long street. You can enjoy yourself, do club hopping, enjoy beer, and have interesting stories with our young girls around who like partying in the evening. So we must have an entertainment street. And that one, we are zoning it as entertainment street. All the way from Mamba, it will extend all the way down to Mega City. And then the next phase of entertainment street should be the Kondele area. All those shops you see in Kondele, timber, what, selling there, we'll have to relocate them to create spaces for good places for entertainment and a 24-hour economy in Kondele. So that is what we plan to do in the CBD. As I move on, there's urban renewal and the urban estates. So I said, I've been singing this song, and I said recently that we have categorized the estates in Kisumu under urban renewal and estate regeneration. So the elite estates, we have said these are Milimani and Riat, where we are inviting all investors to come. Our people working there. If you are from Nyanza, you are working out there, you are in USA, you are in America, you can come back and invest. We have modern estates, the Tomboy and Robert Ouko. We have old estates under urban renewal. So, you know, if you go to Tomboya, these are very old estates. So we want the owners of properties there to regenerate them, to modernize the estate. We have introduced new form of architectural design and new buildings. And Robert Ouko the same, because the houses there are old, they don't look like they're a new urban center. And then we have old estates. Already, there's work going on in Lumumba. There's work going on in Makasembo. There's work going on in this estate, Anderson. So we are still left with Undiek, Arena, Kaloleni, and there's Mosque and Manyata Arabs. So those are what we call urban regeneration. Estates will be regenerated. Then we have old estates under slum upgrading. We have Manyata, Nyalenda, Nyawita, Obunga, Migosi, Lolwe, parts of Mamboleo, Bandani, and parts of Obunga. We don't want mushrooming of Kibera in Kisumu. Even if it is low class or affordable housing, we need to have decent and well-organized estates that you can stay in. You see, like now we are using global models. Like now, this model of, this is a Baton Rouge neighborhood in Louisiana, United States. You see, these are the kind of architectural drawings that we want in major estates. Like in Milimani, we are not going to encourage buildings and constructions of 7 floors. I said the other day, we don't want Kayole-like in Riat Hills. That's where we are demarcating it. We have designed 4 stylish homes, and we are going to restrict ownership to half an acre. So these homes are the samples. If you apply that you want to invest in Riat Hills, we'll give you the design houses, and we are going to demarcate the roads. And all the estates in Kisumu would rather look like this. Although now, these ones we are doing now are becoming skyscrapers. They are going up to 10 floors, 13 floors with lifts. But because they are within the urban core, CBD areas. But if you extend to the outskirts, we would like you to have a design of building. And even if you go to urban regenerated areas, we need an organized. This haphazard of application of just going through buildings, you build things the way you want in an estate, we are going to restrict it. And now there's also, we engage in liquid and solid waste management. Now we have a sewer system. Kisumu drainage system is below 40%. We are still very far from opening up drainages. And then the sewer system is below 20%, and it is improving through Lake Victoria South. Then we have waste collection and processing, the Kasese Waste Management Center. The presenters who are here, the young lady who was here, talked about waste transformed to energy and to and to fertilizer to improve urban agriculture. We are working towards that, and we are going to work together on that. We have water supply. Kiwasco is providing over 90% of water to the city. And then we have Victoria South working together with the city for the northern extension. There's a new sewer system coming up from there. So the city collaborates closely with the county security team to ensure there is an enhanced and frequent police patrols in all the city environs. We had incidents of insecurity, but now the security team, together with our office, we have teamed up. We have been very vigilant, and a few fellows have been buried here and there because of rubbing the law the wrong way. So we want a safe city. We don't want a city of people being mugged at night. So the smart city concept is here, and the expansion, finally, the expansion and modernization of the sewer thing, I've talked about that. Now, what we are talking about smart city here is artificial intelligence city. A city with street lights integrated and interfaced with CCTV at every point. The CCTV we're installing will be able to identify you through your eyeballs and identify your vehicles. So in the next few years, we have decided to go on a very expansive mission to power the AI CCTV and use GIS for efficient land use planning. And this will go to our command control room. That it is to track you and track the insecurity system and deal with urban problems like urban resilience. We can monitor floods. We can like during Corona time, we can monitor which is the outbreak of diseases coming. So finally, we have the e-transport mobility system. We are seeing ahead, and we don't want the issue of traffic jam. So we are going to introduce the light rails from Maseno to Ahero, and we have Kibos to Dunga with interchange and extensions with Kiboswa to Dunga, so that there's interchange at the city center. So we are going to tolerate the e-mobility system, which is less gas burning and the light rail. Thank you very much. That's what we plan to do for Kisumu City. Thank you, moderator.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate it. I'm not sure we'll take any questions at this point in time, yep. Oh, I should go up. Thank you so much. Okay, I'll give you the chance now that I didn't see. Please introduce yourself and any question you have to the city manager, and if you're buying property at Riyadh, maybe I can join you.
Thank you so much, sir. My name is Martin Owila, founder Mentor Me program, and also part of Kisumu WASH team that the founder Victoria Adwet actually leads. My question is just in two areas. Number one, I'm privileged to be a sportsman. I started playing rugby from Kisumu Rugby, and then later joined a club in Nairobi, KCB Rugby Club. In all these plans, I was just trying to wonder through our city manager, what plans do we have? Because when we talk about Nyanza, growing also through Kisumu City, what plans do we have, especially for sports? Because one of the things that we have seen that is really encouraging a lot of growth outside there is, the investment of sports and also entertainment. You've mentioned entertainment, but what plans do we have for sports? Are we able to see that Kisumu will actually be the first, maybe town in this country to just have, for example, a specific rugby, football ground and stuff like that? And then my second question is, what plans also are we putting in place just to put the community to be involved, especially schools have what we call alumni. Do we have a place whereby, as much as we are looking towards investors from outside and within the country, do we also have plans of attracting those who grew in Kisumu and are now, making it or growing in different areas? How can they be part of this growth and also see how they can give back to the community, which is their Kisumu town that they grew in? Thank you so much. God bless you.
Okay, we can take that question. Is there any other question? Okay, finally.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Mr. Balawanga, for the marvelous you are doing within the county of Kisumu. Mine is not a question, but I would really request on behalf of the youth, I'm requesting if you can work closely with youths who are trying to bring change within the country of Kisumu so that we can take Kisumu County to the next level. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. So I'll give Sir your closing remarks.
Okay, thank you very much. Sorry, thank you for adjusting my slides for future presentation. We have demarcated 2 areas for our sports center. So we have Mamboleo, which has been cordoned as residential, commercial, and sports. We are transferring the showground to Kibos. Kibos and Chiga has been demarcated as agricultural and industrial area. So you'll see a lot of exodus from Juakali, Juakali, they are going to consume part of Nyamasaria and Kibos, and you'll see mass exodus of ASK ground, leaving that place. Already we have designs for Mamboleo as a sports and convention center. There's a convention center coming up. There's a stadium to be improved with all the components, basketball, hockey, and rugby. And the sports ground is not enough for hockey, so even the Moi Stadium is going to do a lot of improvement with an Olympic swimming pool, hockey, and basketball and football. So that those 2 complexes are earmarked for development, and what you are looking for is the investor to list them to the investor to improve the sport facility. If your rugby team in Kenya is so strong, come we give you a portion, you can develop your rugby field and run it and charge some money, then you give me a bit as some form of tax in the city. That is why I told you that in the next 2 years, the hatred that I have in Kisumu will be more, because we want to transfer a lot of people from the Juakali sector and the industrial area, and the showground has to be moved, although they are resistance, but they have to do those agricultural business so that they do once a year in Kibos and leave that place as a sport area, because it's now populated, and it has a stadium, it has a convention center. So the future is very important. Now, on the second question of the youth, in fact, now this plan is youth-driven. This is a future plan for the city, and this generation that we have now is going. So that's why in our sensitization, we are going to involve the youth. I like the youth in Kisumu, because when we come through tree planting issues, greening of Kisumu initiative, and the WASH group, the MTACA, we have worked with them, and we partner with them. What we want to involve them is, we just don't want to involve them randomly because of the youth. We categorize the youth. There are those noble youth who are climate change pushers, environmental change pushers, not the ones that throw stones and burn our streets after we have decorated them. But they are noble, and they are the majority, and they are a bit refined. So we are doing a plan to categorize and work with them in each ward and per each zone. When I went to Chiga, we said, look, youth, Chiga is now a growth center. We want a space for stadium. We want a space for development and stalls. Most of the stalls now for trade we are giving the youths because they are aggressive. And this culture of you finish the university or a diploma college and you think you'll be employed, the culture of entrepreneurship is what we are trying to encourage. So the youth, in fact, when we do the marina, youth should be owning boats and should be doing a lot of activities at the beachfront. The beach management unit should be taken over by the youth now, and all this infrastructure sensitization. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. Please give him a round of applause. I'll still keep him on stage. Allow me to invite you. We'd like to appreciate you, sir. Dr. Anyango Justin has something for you. I would want her to reveal it because it's very beautiful. And just to appreciate you and to say that you need to have a unit like this. Maybe have a stall that will showcase that soapstone. So let's please appreciate City Manager, please, as he receives the soapstone. I'm told we need to hold. If you could maybe take a step on stage. Daktari and Abala Wanga, just take a step on stage. Just take a step on stage, just for the lighting as well. If you can have that handover one more time. I thank you for the opportunity, and thank you so much for the great deliberations as well. Mogusu Mamanyi is running this. I know he's not here, but he's one of the sponsors as well for this. So thank you, sir. That marks the end of our... Sure.
Yeah, I've recognized the presence of Senior Olaga Lodge. This guy has a passion for the waterfront, although the people still don't understand the peaceful nature of an island in a city. But one day they will realize. So the first person to invest in an island is Olaga Lodge. He has a very good island. He has tried to invest in it. He has boats. So these talks we have around of what I hope was it, Honorable Lagalwatch, one day his name will be vindicated as one of the people who did not derail the waterfront development, but the pioneers of the vision to take waterfront and islands to another level for Kisumu to be a resort city. So I thank him very much. He's a guy who should be celebrated.
Special recognition. Thank you, sir. Don't forget your gift. Ladies and gentlemen, that marks the end of our day 2. Please give him a round of applause as well. I think got a way to end. So if you're an investor, you're thinking of where to put your money, you've seen the overview, and there's no better story than from none other than the city manager. So he's around. Should you want to invest in Kisumu, this is the place to be. Thank you so much for your patience. Thank you so much for your time. I'd like to invite you all to day 3, which will also be our closing ceremony. It's been an absolute pleasure being your host, particularly on this quite a busy day as well, as we did our official opening. So enjoy yourselves. Please see you again tomorrow at 9 a.m. as we begin our final day, which is day 3, and also having the closing ceremony. Thank you.
At KCB, we deeply value the pivotal role that PBOs, public benefit organizations, play in our society in addressing the needs of vulnerable communities, influencing policy on local and emerging global challenges. As a bank, we understand that true transformation happens when diverse stakeholders collaborate with purpose.
The purpose of this discussion is for us, as the financial partner, to listen as you tell us how we can partner, collaborate for scaling and for social transformation.
For the last 128 years, been about people, and the footprint that we leave and intend to continue to leave is one of leaving things better.
How do we create the right partnerships? How do we address a lot of these social impact aspirations that we have that are often constrained by not having the right partnerships, the right smart solutions? So those are the questions I have to leave with you.
One of the key insights from our work in regulating the NGO sector is the immense potential and capacity for innovation, accountability, and impact that partnerships can bring.
Tech is sector agnostic. It's not something that should only be focused on in a particular sector, and it should be used as an enabler, for us to be able to see transformation in agriculture and in different sectors.
In the space of mass entrepreneurship, and be it in propagation, be it in certification, be it in business development support, that's what the KCB Foundation is there for. In addition to what it is the KCB Foundation can do in terms of working with young people to make them ready to become seed entrepreneurs, we also have an expansive branch network.
I encourage the initiative by KCB and KCB Foundation to come in and support this area as one which employs more than 70%, more than 60% of people, and be able to achieve food security on this continent, and through the technologies increase the income and lift many smallholders from poverty to a better life.
Together we can transform challenges into opportunities. Thank you for trusting KCB as your partner. We don't take this for granted.